Hi and welcome. I'm Sterling again from Strategy Content Marketing. This on-screen video I'm going to give you now illustrates how we use HTML coding in a very simple manner. And we're not going to try to teach you any HTML coding. It's just kind of intended to teach you about what the code structure is like, so when you're looking in, for instance, in your WordPress editor, when you're in the text mode, it shows you pretty much what the HTML code looks like. And when you recognize what that means and it doesn't look like a bunch of gobbledygook to you anymore, it gives you some power to go in and make little subtle changes in your the format of your page that you wouldn't normally know how to do if all you could use is the clickable features in WordPress. So to illustrate a little bit about the setup of HTML coding and how it works, I'm going to use a simple on-screen editor that anybody could call up. There's a couple of them out there. One of them, which I'm not going to use, is called htmledit.squarefree.com. It's simpler than this because it doesn't have a little box up here showing you all the tag symbols. So I'd rather use this one that we're showing here. It's called Online HTML Editor, because this little box shows, it doesn't show all of them, there's a lot more other tag symbols, but it shows all the major tag symbols that you commonly use. And so because this little box is here, when I go through some demos, you'll get a better grip of what's going on because you see the symbols listed at the top. So if I start here, let me refresh this. I mean, when you first call up this site, it gives you some sample text here. The top box here, this is where you type in your HTML code, and the bottom box here shows you then in real time the results of that code visually, what you're going to see in a document. So you can see, we can go over this real quickly here. If you look up here in the top box, the first line defines this header that says welcome to the HTML editor. You see it starts out with a start tag called H2. That means it's an H2 header. And over here is a /H2. That's an end tag for the H2 header. And so when this information is read by the computer, it knows, okay, an H2 header starts here, it ends there. Likewise, underneath we see a one-line paragraph. It's defined here with a start P. There's the one-line paragraph that says just type the HTML and it will be shown below, followed by a /P end tag. And that, again, that's telling the computer when it sees that line, wow, this is a paragraph. It starts here and it ends there. Likewise, here's another paragraph, all this stuff written in Latin. It says it starts here, ends here, ends down here. Likewise, underneath you see this Google image here. Underneath that, up here in the HTML section, you see img src. That means image source equals, and then it gives a URL from which it went and got that image, and etc., etc. With this example down here at the bottom of the example, it puts together a bullet point list, and you can go up here in the editor section and see what a bullet point list looks like in HTML. It starts with this start tag and its related end tag, and here are each one of the bullets has a start and end defined by its little tag. So I'm going to give you a little more complete analysis of that. We're going to get rid of what they have on screen here. Take that away, so now we're blank. And I'm going to go grab the text that I used in my blog that this video is written around. Here's my blog. Here's my sample text that I discussed in the blog article. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back here to this online editor and put it in here. And there it is. Same analysis. You can write simple code. I slit the sheet, I slit upon the slitted sheet, I sit. Say that 3 times really fast if you're not used to it. You can see up here, here's the H1. This is an H1 header that says you can write simple code. It says it starts here, it ends here. Underneath is a paragraph. It starts here, it ends there. You see, there's the start tag, there's the end tag. And up here, this HTML start tag says this is the start of the document. This HTML tag down here says this is the end of the document. This tag here says this is the start of the body of the document, and this tag here says that's the end of the body of the document, because you might have a bunch of other stuff in there besides headers and paragraphs. So I'm just going to do a little example here. I'm going to scroll up here so you can see this box. Let's say you wanted to add bold to that paragraph. Let's say you wanted to make this paragraph bold. Well, if you were in your visual editor, you just highlight this and you go up there and you'd select the bold and it would make it bold. But what's really happening, this is going to show you what that action would really do to the HTML text when you do that. I'm going to take this paragraph here and I'm going to add the start and end tags for bold, which is a B. We're going to go left caret B, right caret, and then before the end I'm going to put an end tag, left caret / B, right caret. There's the end of the bold. Now you see how my paragraph became bold. Let's say I wanted to underline it. It wouldn't matter what order I do it as long as it's inside the paragraph definition. We use a U. The tag for underlining is a U, so we'll do the same thing. We'll put a U, and there's our start tag. And over here we'll put our, over here we'll put our /U for an end tag. There, I've underlined it, etc. Now let's say I want to add a link to that sentence in my paragraph. It could be one sentence in a whole bunch of sentences inside the paragraph. But then if I want to add a link, I'm going to put my cursor here and I'm going to hit link, and over here I'm going to add a link to our homepage, strategycontentmarketing.com. Put that in there. There. I now have a link to our homepage. You can see there is the coding that defines the link. Within that sentence, and you can see that it's down here. If I click on it, then I'm going to get sent to that page. We're waiting on it to do that. The internet's working rather slowly all day here, doing kind of annoying things. So there it is. It's taken us to our home page through that link. I think if I back arrow here, I'll be back where I was. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out of there. Take the link out and back to where I was. I'll refresh this. Oops, when I refresh it, I go back to what they gave me on the initial thing. Anyway, you get the point. You get the point. I could take this back out of there, I suppose. I'll take that back. Take this back out of there and put my initial text back in just for consistency, just so I can end on a note where I thought I was. I meant to get back to there. Okay, now once you've gained a grasp on that and you got a pretty basic idea how this stuff works, I thought I might give you an example of how you might make use of your expanded knowledge of embedding, of manipulating the contents of what's in your HTML code. You might find, for example, I'm going to go, here is a blog post that I wrote yesterday. Here's how it appears in published form, and I'm down about halfway in the post. And you see I have a video here. And let's say I decided I don't want that video that wide. Now there are options for putting videos in of various sizes when you put it in, but let's say you needed to make it a particular size, or you don't want to go look for the option, you just want to narrow it down to something you like. So let's go back to the editor mode. I'm back in my dashboard here, and I'm going to look at this visually. I'm looking at this blog post in the editor visually, and I'm going to scroll down here. There's my first picture. There's the big pink rectangle where my video is going to appear. Now if I would flip over to text mode here, you can see as I scroll down here, it's not quite so easy to pick out where in the heck that video is in text mode. So I'm going to show you a trick for doing that. I'm going to go back to visual mode. Let me say, okay, and there, I know there's where the top of the video is. I'm going to insert something in here temporarily that I can see when I go to text mode. I like to put in a line of all the same characters. So I'm going to put in a bunch of capital N's here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to text mode. Well, there's my row of capital N's in there, you know. Right underneath it then we see immediately there is the source of the definition of the height and the width of my YouTube video. Well, I said, well, that video is way too wide. It says its width is 640. I'm going to narrow it down to, let's say, 280. So when we look at that thing's going to be really significantly narrowed. For the purpose of my demonstration, I'm going to leave those capital N markers in there so you see when I update it and view it, they'll still be in there, but I want to leave them in there so I can easily change this back so I can still find this spot in the text. So I hit update, which is the equivalent of publish. When I hit update, it saves all those changes so that when I go to view the post, it's going to include those changes. Now I've updated it, I'm going to actually go to view post and see how does that appear in its published form. We have to wait a minute. Again, we have a slow acting internet tonight. Can't complain, it's better than it is at home. So now I'm back to my blog post and scroll down, and there you see I've narrowed my video down to a width of 280 versus 640, which would have taken up the whole room, and you can see my temporary N markers are there so that when I go back in I can easily put it back the way it was. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going back into the editor mode. First I'm going to change this 280 back to a 640, and then I'm gonna get rid of these because I was only using them to find out where I was in the code. Take out my extra carriage return and update it again, and when we get back there you'll see that I'm back into the original format that I started with. So let's give it a minute to hurry up, because it's going faster than I can talk, and I don't let go of these blank spots in my video. So we're going to view it, and we're going to see when it comes back up that we're back to the original format that we started with. So this is just one small, there we go, see, we're back to the original width. This is just one small example of the kind of flexibility that you're going to gain in fine-tuning the format of your pages when you understand just a little bit about the code, and you can go in and look at things and manipulate them around, and it gives you a lot more control than just using the point and click options that you have in the editor on WordPress. Wow, this turned into a 15-minute long video, so I'm going to cut it short now, but add a quick invitation to be sure to go to our free online training videos to sign up for them. If you click the subscribe button on the right side of any blog post, I can even show it to you while I'm here. If you click here, it'll sign you up immediately with Facebook. If you want to sign up with a different email, you can click subscribe here and go there, and then you'll get a message that tells you you're going to get an email to give you access to our video series. And I certainly look forward to you watching that and giving us some feedback on how we're doing with the videos. And I will talk to you on the next video. Thank you very much. Have a good evening or morning or whatever it is when you're watching this. Bye.